A severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. Again, this is northwestern portions of DeSoto County, including Walls, Horn Lake, the Days community, and South Haven, all in this severe thunderstorm warning. Now, the main risk with this is large hail and damaging wind. Now, as of right now, this cell doesn't look as strong as the severe cell back to the south and west. We have 50 lightning strikes with this, but again, this is the area that is moving east and southeast. So this is basically going to ride along that county line. So this is the Shelby County, DeSoto County line, again, the Tennessee, Mississippi state line as well. And you can see that the cell has the potential to at least produce some dime to quarter size hail and also possibly produce some damaging wind as well. I want to put a track on this real quick before we look at the hail core on it. And this is the cell I'm talking about. I'm just going to put a quick track so that you can get an idea of the strongest part of the cell. Now it's moving east, and some of these cells are trying to move southeast, but if we move this out, it's only going at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. So those are some of the areas that will be impacted in this cell as we go through the next 30 minutes or so. I'm going to put this out about 30, and then this will give us some of the areas. So Walls 446, Horn Lake 459. Looks like also 504 in South Haven, and then as you go into Olive Branch 523 and 538 in Byhalia. Now again, this expires at 5:15, so this particular thunderstorm warning goes until 5:15. I'm seeing signs that we at least have some dime-size hail. Where you see that purple area right there, that is that hail core that's moving with the cell. No tornado threat with this, zero tornado threat at this time. However, we'll want to watch these to see if they start to rotate just a little bit. In the meantime, this severe thunderstorm warning is for Shelby, DeSoto, and portions of Crittenden County. So if you're in any of these areas, I want you to just kind of stay in your safe spot until this storm passes. Again, stay away from windows. A lot of lightning with these, 44 lightning strikes just with that cluster alone. Now I'm going to go back here and I want to show you, I'm going to go through the both the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have, because we have two in place. The one in Shelby County, this storm actually looks a lot stronger. Look at all the lightning with this. 181 lightning strikes with all these storms combined. This severe thunderstorm warning also goes until 5:15. This includes Mariana, and it goes back across portions of Lee and St. Francis County. And this is the hail core with this one right over the Morrow community right now. This is starting to dive southeast. So first alert, if you're in Tunica County, this is the Mississippi River, that little winding river right there that you see. That is the mighty Mississippi, and it is going to be crossing over that here in the next 30 minutes or so. Again, these storms aren't going real fast, about 25 to 35 miles per hour, and we've had possibly at least dime-size hail. Some of this around the Morrow area could be quarter-size hail as it's diving off to the southeast. So that's the second severe thunderstorm warning. I want to put the radar in motion and show you what is going on. And these storms kind of erupting in the afternoon, the heat of the afternoon. Even though we haven't seen a ton of sunshine, we are seeing these storms really starting to fire up over Crittenden County, over southern parts of Mississippi County, and then stretching down to the south. Again, moving into portions of southwestern Shelby County and also northwestern DeSoto County. So this batch is moving east. This batch down here, the second batch, this one's kind of moving southeast toward Tunica County. So if you're in any of these areas, be alert for hail or high wind. Those are the two primary threats. And if you have your First Alert weather app, that's a great tool to let you know if that lightning is nearby as well, because there is a lot of lightning with these storms. In fact, right now we've got 199 lightning strikes ongoing. There's the hail core that I was talking about with that cell in portions of southern Crittenden County right now. This is portions of southern Crittenden, and then moving right over. This one, if it holds together, First Alert, South Haven, I-55, this could drop some hail in your area here shortly. This is going to stay just north of I-69 there, and you can see that we have kind of two areas that we're watching closely this afternoon as of 4:43 in the afternoon. Now, I'm not seeing a whole lot of rotation. Let me go back to that real quick because I want to show you what I'm looking at right now. The rotation detection not picking up on anything. So the tornado threat extremely low. That's why we're not as concerned about tornadoes with these systems. Really, it's been hail and high wind for much of this activity, and you can still see the purple area showing up on our hail tracker. This is our first alert hail tracker, and it's specific technology to us that really picks up on that hail core, and you can see it near Hughes right now, and then also one area west of Mariana. So that's really the reason they issued this severe thunderstorm warning from the National Weather Service here in Memphis, was to warn for that potential for large hail. I don't think we're seeing as much wind with these, although there could be some downbursts coming out of these severe storms as well. So be aware of that. Hopefully you've got everything in from outside. If you have any outdoor items, say if you're in Shelby County or DeSoto County, just as a precaution, you know, I know garbage day was this morning for some, yesterday for others. If you haven't brought the can in, you might want to go ahead and do that. But either way, these storms are going to blow through pretty quick as we go through the next couple of hours. This is a view, and the reason I want to show you this is the Best Care Home Services camera looking toward downtown Memphis. This is the view of that thunderstorm just blowing up. This is like looks like a big mushroom cloud, and it's called a big cumulonimbus cloud, and that is a severe storm. And when you start to see the edge of it when the sun is shining and you can see how high that goes, that's an indication of a very strong or a severe storm when those storms start to reach 30, 40, 50,000 feet in the air. And that's what we're seeing out there this afternoon. So this is all along a front, the front that's going to push through the area as we go through the weekend. Now, at the moment, we're not under a severe thunderstorm watch, believe it or not. Those are all back off to the west. So Missouri, parts of eastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, all under severe thunderstorm watches right now. But they could extend that because we may have another line that comes through later on tonight. This is kind of just some isolated activity that is happening ahead of the main system itself. So we could see storms later tonight between midnight and 5 a.m. that produce similar results as we go into the overnight hours. So let's show you one more time. I want to show you what we're talking about with this cell as it continues to move into portions of southwestern Shelby County. Again, the potential for hail exists with this cell. Looks like it's starting to increase a little bit with the hail core. Let me go over to the analysis page here, and we're going to look at the hail core, and I'm going to query this real quick so that you can get a better idea. So yeah, that looks like quarter-size hail, and I'm going to zoom in almost down to street level here, and there's not, some of this is more rural areas, so it just depends on what is going to pop up. This is just south of Anthonyville. This is basically south of West Memphis. This is along the Mississippi River. Some of the areas that may be seeing hail include Pinckney, Highland Farm, any of those areas just to the south and west of Memphis. There could be at least quarter-size hail with this, and that is kind of the minimum threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning. So anywhere from really Democrat to Chatfield, all the way down to Highland Farm, Thompson Grove, Pinckney, all those areas possibly seeing at least some pea-size, if not some quarter-size hail. So there's likely some hail falling with this. And again, this is heading to the east. So first alert for you folks in Walls and Horn Lake and Olive Branch, eventually South Haven for sure. This storm that has the potential to produce hail is moving off to the east with a lot of lightning, very heavy rainfall, and already saturated grounds. So all of that is going to cause issues, especially for folks. It's 4:47, and I know that, you know, this is a holiday weekend, so we're not necessarily seeing as much traffic on the roads as we typically would, say, on a Friday afternoon at 5, but I'm sure at the very least, there may be a lot of folks just out there traveling, maybe to go places for the weekend. And if you're traveling, this cell is going to cause issues. This cell is actually staying just to the south of I-40. Let me put the latest track on this particular cell, because again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 5:15. And I'm going to put a track on the core of the storm, and it's going to go out to about, we'll go 25, 26 miles per hour. Let's zoom in a little bit. And there you go. That's some of the areas that will be impacted. It looks like the core of this storm is going to stay just to the south of the city of Memphis. So if you're looking at the map here, there's the city of Memphis. Here is South Haven and Horn Lake, and then here's Walls, and here's the core of that storm as it's traveling to the east, and here's some of the areas that will be impacted. So again, Walls at 458. If you are in the Lakeview community, 502, South Haven, 504, Lynchburg, 506, Twin Lakes, 506, and Holly Hills, 507. So that kind of gives you an idea that some of these areas on the leading edge of this core of the potential hail and maybe some high winds. There could be some 60-mile-per-hour wind in this system, but again, 36 lightning strikes. We have a pretty intense amount of lightning, especially around that hail core there near between Anthonyville and the Pinckney area. And again, this is going to kind of ride that DeSoto County, Shelby County line as we go through the next, say, 30 to 45 minutes. It's actually a pretty slow moving cell, so this may be extended. They may extend the severe thunderstorm warning into the southern half of Shelby County. So that would be basically along and south of I-40 where you could see a new severe thunderstorm warning come up at some point if this cell holds together. But again, severe thunderstorm warning if you're just joining us at 449 for portions of southwestern Shelby, northwestern DeSoto County. Again, this goes until 5:15. The main risk, I think, with this cell is hail, but there's also the potential for high wind as well with this cell, and certainly very, very heavy rainfall possible as it moves on through. Let me zoom back out, give you a broader view so that you can kind of see with this cell. And what I'm going to do actually real quick is I'm going to try to get a 3D view of this cell. So we're going to turn on the interaction here real quick, and I just want to see if I can get a better shot. Let me clear some of this off here real quick, so bear with me, and we're going to try to get a better view of this in 3D so that we can kind of see what this this particular cell here is doing. So let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Now there is, before I do that, let's go over here to the velocity. Yeah, there's a little bit of rotation with this as well. Let me see what the National Weather Service is saying on that, but I don't think there's any plan to, I think they'll stay with the severe thunderstorm warning for now. Looks like they're talking about potential at least for 40-mile-per-hour winds, but nickel to quarter-size hail with this cell. And again, this the Lee County storm seems like it's weakening a little bit, but they continue the severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Shelby County as well. And again, I'd say anywhere between Pinckney and Horseshoe, you could see some gusty winds with this, along with the potential for hail. Let me go back to the reflectivity here, and we'll go back to the 3D view and see if we can get a better view of this. And it looks like it's not wanting to give me that right now. Let me flip over and make sure we're on NQA. It looks like we are, okay. So yeah, so basically with these cells, we're looking at this area right here. This is the area that has the potential for possible hail with it as it moves through the Mid-South. And again, look at all the lightning strikes with that as well. A ton of lightning on the moving into northwestern sections of DeSoto County. But hail, where you see the purple, that is the main issue. Again, I'm seeing a little bit, a small sign of rotation with this. There's a little bit of rotation between 96 and it looks like 96 Corner and Thompson Grove. A little bit of rotation there, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. But certainly the hail core seems to be intensifying with this as we are looking at it here. I'm seeing at least dime to quarter size hail. So again, dime to quarter size hail with this cell, and that's the main threat, the main risk as it moves into southwestern sections of Shelby County. This cell is moving due east. So due east, that would put Lakeview, the Darwin area, Walls, Glover, South Haven, and Horn Lake all in the path of this hail core. So if you look at this and you just look at this one purple area right here south of Anthonyville, keep in mind city of Memphis is way up here. So this is going to go south of the city of Memphis, north, just north of Marietta there in, looks like in northwestern sections of DeSoto County. This is going to stay just north of Horseshoe Lake and push east. No signs of any tornadic activity at this time, but certainly worth watching since I'm seeing a little bit of rotation and noting a little bit of rotation on our system here. And so we'll keep an eye on that part of the cell as well. And let me see what the latest is Looks like the National Weather Service is going to continue with this warning through 5:15, 60-mile-per-hour wind, and quarter-size hail is the main risk. It's actually slowed down a little bit. It's only moving at 15 miles per hour, and what that tells me is that we're going to have an issue with flooding with this cell because it's moving so slow. So let me go ahead and look at the accumulation rate on this. Let's go ahead and just kind of get an idea of how hard this rain is falling, because that is going to be an issue as well as this cell continues to push on through. And as we take a look at, let's look at the 1 hour rain rate with this. So this is looking at how much rain has fallen in just an hour. We're talking 1.3 inches of rain in 1 hour. So that's a big dose of heavy rain that is falling. Let's look at the rain rate on this and give you a better idea. This is the rain rate. We'll clear this off and let me go ahead and query this. This is how heavy the rain is. Now, some of this is hail that's inside of here, so that's kind of, it probably isn't quite 7.4 inches, but it's certainly at the very least 2 to 4 inches of rain an hour is what's falling out of this. And since it is moving so slow, that could cause some flooding issues. So that's something we'll need to stay aware of as well. I'll go back to, let's go back here and look at the hail core on this one more time. And again, there's two cells that we're watching here, and I'll zoom out so you can have a better idea. If you're just joining us right now on Action News 5, we're in long form severe weather coverage for 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one of which is just to the west of South Haven and west and southwest of Memphis. This one is moving east, so it's going to kind of ride that county line, that DeSoto Shelby County line. It looks like they've just issued a new warning from Hernando to Senatobia. So now we have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings that go well past 5 o'clock. This one goes as well for Mariana. Here's the hail core on this one. And again, all 3 of these, the main risk looks like large hail. So anywhere from dime to quarter. Could it be a little bit larger? It could, but typically whatever we're seeing here, it's usually a tad bit smaller. So the radar, a lot of these algorithms tend to overdo the actual hail size. So when I look at this, if it tells me it's seeing, say, $half size hail, it's usually nickel or quarter size. So we try to take that into account. But either way, it can do damage. It can also cause some problems for folks that are driving out in this. So you want to kind of stay put if you can, if you're in any of these areas. Again, severe thunderstorm warning for Shelby, southwestern Shelby. Again, the majority of our county not in the severe thunderstorm warning at this time. It's the very southwestern portion of the county that is under a severe thunderstorm warning, and this does not include, again, really areas east and northeast of Memphis, and I think these storms will actually stay just to the south of the actual city of Memphis. At least the worst of the storms will stay to the south of Memphis. Let me go, I'm going to turn our camera around real quick, and let me grab that. I'm going to turn the actual camera to the southwest so we can get a better view of these storms. We're probably going to see a good bit of lightning at some point on this cell as I look off to the south and to the west. So I'm just going to keep that view up for a minute, and then we will check that out here in just a second. And again, I-55, if you're planning on traveling I-55 here in the next little bit, you may want to stand by and just kind of stay put, because both of these cells, if you're traveling out of Memphis, let's say you are working today like we are, even though we're heading in a holiday weekend, if you're leaving or about to leave the city of Memphis and head south on I-55, you're probably going to run into these. Now, they're moving slow, but they will arrive here in the next 20 to 30 minutes across this area of I-55. That means we could deal with hail or wind in these areas, and you really don't want to be out driving on an interstate in these kind of storms if you can avoid it. So I would say to stay put at this point. Now, I think we might have a camera down there along I-55. If we do, let's go ahead and take that and show you what the scene is right now. Again, we are looking at all of our cameras there, the T-Dot cameras and also the M-Dot. And again, this is a T-Dot camera. Where is this at? Again, this is at I-55 at Mallory. Okay, so this is I-55, and right now it's dry. So you can see the dark sky in the distance. those storms are eventually going to cross just to the south of this little area, maybe clipping this particular area of I-55 there as you head toward the Mississippi state line. Let's go back to the radar and show you again. These storms are in the distance there, and they are. This one is trying to produce a little bit of rotation, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm seeing a little, almost like a little tail on this one, and I saw some earlier, a little bit, some signs of rotation. So let me check that one more time and make sure that these storms aren't trying to rotate on us, and make sure that we're not seeing. Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of rotation. So when we look at our rotation detection, I'll turn the lightning off so you can see this a little bit better, because it's hard to see with all that data on the screen. But if you look at that area of green right there, so we have specific technology that can find any rotation in the storm. Now, this doesn't mean that there would be a tornado on the ground necessarily, but as you go up in the storm, you can actually see areas of rotation. This green is telling me that, yeah, there is some spin in this storm that we'll have to monitor closely just in case it starts to spin a little bit stronger. Again, the main risk with these storms, still hail and high wind, but because this storm is severe, any severe thunderstorm can potentially produce a tornado, whether the day is a really high-risk day or a low-risk day. Any storm can always produce a tornado. So keep that in mind. With any thunderstorm, expect the unexpected. So that's why we want to keep a close eye on these storms, especially since we're in the heat of the afternoon. So right now, temperatures are in the 80s, dew points in the 60s. There's enough fuel for these storms. As you go to the nighttime hours, there's a little less fuel, so it's not, you can still have severe storms, but typically it takes a lot more fuel to really get those storms to blow up. And this afternoon, we have plenty of that in the atmosphere. But again, we'll watch this area. This is south of Chatfield. So again, the city of Memphis is up here. Here's South Haven. Here's I-55. And this is the area, and again, lines up with the area of large hail and possible high winds that we're seeing with that as well. And I'm even seeing with these other cells some signs of a little bit of turning in the atmosphere. You can see with all three of these, there's a little bit of green that shows up, and I'll just circle it for you real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. It's those three areas right there that are showing signs of at least a little bit of rotation. And if we click over to this is our hail tracker, and in those same areas is where we're seeing the potential for large hail. So again, everything's lining up on the radar right now, showing us that potential for hail. So hail potential heading toward South Haven and maybe eventually Olive Branch. Again, this cell is going to stay just to the south of Memphis. Collierville, you may want to stay alert there, because this cell eventually, it's very slow, will make its way into parts of southeastern Shelby County as well. But again, we're seeing the large hail possible heading toward Coldwater right now. So severe thunderstorm warning for Tate and portions of DeSoto County. And let's just go over the 3 severe thunderstorm warnings real quick and what areas they include and how long they go, because that's probably what a lot of you are asking is, where are these at and where are they going? And as of right now, and let me go back to the velocity because I'm a little concerned. I'm still not seeing a whole lot there, but certainly something worth watching, because that storm has a little bit of a hook on it right there, and we want to watch that area very, very closely right there. But these storms, so we have 1 severe thunderstorm warning for portions of DeSoto and southwestern Shelby County. That goes until 5:15. So that one until 5:15. The one in west of Hernando goes until 5:45, and the other one near Mariana goes until 5:15. So we have 3 different areas that we're watching here, and I'm just going to zoom out a little bit and kind of show you on the wall here what we're talking about, because it's these 3 cells, 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, this one goes until 5:15. They may extend it into portions of southern Shelby County and northern parts of DeSoto County. This one goes until 5:45, so this is including portions of Tate County, southern DeSoto County, and a small sliver of Tunica County. So those 2 areas we're watching. Then we have St. Francis County into portions. Well, now it's primarily in Lee County now. So this is all in Lee County, and this is going to try to head into Phillips County. So northern Phillips, Lee County until 5:15. So we have 3 severe storms right now. We have another little cell popping up, I just noticed there along 269, so we'll need to watch that. I think what's happening is we have a little boundary in the atmosphere that's kicking off these cells, and it's certainly worth watching because there's probably going to be more cells along and south of this boundary. So we may have severe storms continue for the next couple of hours if this holds true. Now again, I'm not seeing any major signs of rotation, but I am seeing some increase. The shear rate is continuing to increase there just a little bit north of Horseshoe Lake. So we'll have to watch that. When I look at the rotation track on this, again, some signs that there have been some areas of rotation, but it looks like it's mainly aloft. So not a huge deal at that point. But let me go back to the reflectivity here real quick and then go back to the CC. Yeah, there's something there. And let me... Okay, and it looks like we're just continuing to monitor our cameras as well, and if we see anything on those, we will go to them. Right now, most of the cameras are showing a lot of cloud cover, but let me go to this, see what the National Weather Service is, the latest from them, and it looks like they're continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for Lee and parts of Phillips County. So that storm will continue. Again, ping pong ball size hail. So we're talking about large hail with some of these cells. And this was an update from the National Weather Service about 5 minutes ago. This storm that's just to the west of Mariana moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. So we're watching a couple of different areas here. And again, I'm a little concerned about that little hook and how that cell is developing right there. But let's go ahead and let's put a track on a couple of these real quick. I'm actually going to put these in motion. So I'm going to go back to my show and we'll just go through this real quick and show you what we're talking about. Again, there's not a ton of severe weather on the screen as a whole. We have a little cluster of storms that has developed this afternoon over portions of southwestern Shelby, DeSoto, and then back into eastern Arkansas. This is the cluster we're talking about. So here's the city of Memphis. Most of this is moving east and trying to move southeast. There's a little bit of a weak disturbance aloft that's kicking this off. We're not even under a severe thunderstorm watch at this time, believe it or not. So they may reevaluate that from SPC as we go through the evening. But right now, not under a severe thunderstorm watch. And again, a couple of downpours popping up here in Shelby County, but nothing severe here. The severe portion down here, and I really think it's going to stay to the south of Shelby County as of right now. This is really right along the county line into DeSoto County is where the cell is going to move at the moment. But we're watching these little downpours, one popping up near Lakeland, so we'll see if those pulse up even more. But this cell, again, this is south of Memphis. Here's downtown Memphis and East Memphis, and you can see this is heading right into Walls and Horn Lake. So first alert, South Haven, Horn Lake, Days community. They may extend this warning into Olive Branch eventually, but right now they have not. And again, this cell, large hail right here, and a little bit of an appendage or a hook that I'm seeing here that I want to keep a very close eye on because I haven't seen any signs that that is reaching the ground, but there's certainly some rotation aloft with this. So you just want to stay inside, stay away from windows, stay indoors until this storm passes, especially if you plan to be along I-55. And as this gets closer into I-55, if we have any of those, if there are any MDOT cameras down there that we can access, we might be able to see these storms a little bit better. In fact, if you guys can pull up the Midtown camera, I've got it pointed in the direction of these, and look at that. Look at, the sun is shining right now, so it makes that sky look even darker, but that's pointing in the direction of those storms, and it looks just like one big mass of dark clouds because of, it's kind of a messy cluster. It's not just one small cell, so that's why the sky looks so dark. But we're watching in the distance. Again, there's a lot of lightning with this, but we're not seeing it because it's likely beyond some of this thick cloud cover that we're seeing on the northern edge of it. But certainly these storms are going to continue to be severe for at least the next 30 to 45 minutes. So let's go back to the radar and show you again, severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Shelby, but I think most of this is going to stay in northern DeSoto County. But we want to make sure you folks in Shelby County are alert to what is going on at this time. And again, these storms have a history of producing possible pea to quarter size hail and maybe some high wind gusts. They look to be intensifying to me a little bit just based on what I'm seeing on the radar right now from Mariana to Coldwater. And again, these storms, typical springtime storms, very heavy rainfall rates at 2 to 4 inches an hour with these cells. So if you are in Coldwater or Hernando, this cell is moving basically is going to move right over I-55 in between those two areas. So please stay indoors until these storms pass. Same story if you're in Mariana in portions, and now they've extended. You can see that severe thunderstorm warning. They just extended it almost to Helena right now. So new severe thunderstorm warning. They'll likely take this one past 6 o'clock. I would imagine that one is going to go at least to 6 o'clock and maybe a little bit longer as these cells are just kind of putting along. They're not really going that fast. So again, they're just dropping copious amounts of rain. So yeah, that one goes until 6 p.m. So new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Phillips and Lee County until 6 p.m. We have the cell in DeSoto and Shelby County that goes until 5:15, and then we have the cell in Tate in DeSoto County, and that one goes until 5:45. So 5:45. This looks like the strongest cell to me right now as far as the hail core is concerned. And what I'm seeing out of this cell, likely quarter size hail or larger. Arkabutla, this is really between Cub Lake and the Arkabutla area, and then this is heading toward Buena Vista Lake. So this is really between Coldwater and again Hernando. Senatobia, it looks like it's going to stay just to your north and just to the south. This portion of the cell stays just to the south to Hernando. Where was that hail video at? All right, we have hail video, and Anna's pulling this up for me right now in Mason, Tennessee. So let's go to that and show you. We are getting reports of hail, and here it is. You can hear it hitting the deck there in Mason, Tennessee. It looks like it's probably pea, maybe a little bit larger. A little hard to see through that window, but yeah, these storms, not just heavy rainfall, but very intense hail can fall and pile up on the ground a lot of times. So that's just one report we're getting of the hail. And if you have any storm reports, please share those with us. You can share those with us on actionnews5.com. You can actually share your pictures and your photos there. If you go and go to the main page there, there's a section where you can go and actually share that. You can share them with me on social media as well, on Facebook and on X, as well as Instagram, or you can go to the app, and also there may be a link there as well. But we're looking at the potential for large hail with these storms as they continue to move to the east at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. These are just slow moving, just dragging along this afternoon. And this is not typical. Typical springtime, we have these storms that just ride along the jet stream and they just swoop in and swoop out. This set of storms this afternoon doesn't have as much of a steering current with it, or a strong one, so these are just kind of moving slowly along here in parts of northwest Mississippi and southwest Tennessee this afternoon. Let's put a lapse on this real quick, and we can give you a better idea of how these storms are going and how they're moving as of right now. So let's put a 1 hour lapse, and we'll put this into play, and you can kind of see how over the past hour, how much they've moved, and it's not been a lot. I mean, they're almost sliding southeast now. So instead of east, I think these are actually trying to move southeast. So this cell up here in southwestern Shelby County, it's moving away from the county. I think we're going to be okay here in Shelby County once this warning expires here in about 3 minutes. I think we'll be all right here in Shelby County. But if you're in DeSoto, Tate, portions of Panola County, Tunica County, and down here in Coahoma County, you're going to deal with more storms here over the next hour or two. So stay weather alert as these storms move through. And again, you can see to the west of Holly Springs, there may be storms developing for you as well as these storms move down to the south and east. But if you're in northern Shelby County, no issues as of right now. Looks like none of the activity is north of Memphis. It looks like it is all south of I-40 as of right now. So again, we're on the air for potential severe weather in portions of southern Shelby and northern DeSoto, but I think most of this again is going to stay in DeSoto County. So if you are in DeSoto County, and let me unpause this and do the latest, and it looks like the Weather Service just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 6 p.m. Within these two, it's for this core of the cell. And let me circle it for you because it's kind of hard to see with all these warning boxes on here. This is this part of the cell we're talking about. And if I put a track on that part of the cell, it is basically moving like this at about 15 miles per hour. Man, that's slow. And let's extend this warning out just a little bit. So we're going to go out 90 minutes. And we're going to go about 20 on this, and let's take it back down to 15 here. 15, and there you go. Okay, so there's some of the areas that will be impacted by the core of the storm. So if you are in DeSoto and St County, first alert, severe storms with hail and high wind moving through right now. So these are the areas, walls moving through at 523. This is the core of the storm, not the storms you're seeing right now, but the core of the severe storm coming through at that time. Banks, 528, Eudora, 535, Days, 537, Trinity, 540, and 554 in Nesbit. And again, that's for the core of this cell right here that's going to travel right along 69 and eventually push over I-55. So this is, we've got two areas of I-55 that will be impacted, but again, and it looks like they'll probably let the severe thunderstorm warning in Shelby County expire, and we'll likely go back to our newscast here in just a minute. But I want to stay with you for just a second because there's still large hail that's possible moving just on, it's going to clip South Haven. So this worst part of this storm clipping South Haven. Although you're getting heavy rain, thunder, lightning, maybe some gusty winds in South Haven as we speak, the core of the storm is going to be on your southwest side, and it's going to move on through into eventually over toward Hernando. So a slew of severe thunderstorm warnings continue in that area. So if you are in northwest Mississippi this afternoon, please just stay inside until these storms pass so you don't have to deal with them if you plan to be out and about. But we'll take one more view of and there they go. They have let Shelby County go out of that storm, out of that severe thunderstorm warning. So what I'll do is I'll just, we're going to toss it back to, we'll toss to break here in just a second, but there it is. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue for portions of eastern Arkansas, northwest Mississippi. Hail, high wind, the main threat. We're watching them. We'll keep you advised if I see a hail potential that becomes more dangerous, or if we see higher wind gusts, we will keep you advised throughout the newscast. More Action News 5 coming up after this.
All right. Good job, Spencer. Great job, Spencer. Thank you.
Thank